Welcome to the Kelly Cardenas podcast, where attitude is everything. On this episode of Unscripted, we're going to hit not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we're hitting 9 points. We're going to go for fire for 10 minutes. We got some commercials to show you because I want to show love to all of the sponsors. The first one, probably one of my favorites, which is the Vibe Room. And the Vibe Room is a live version of the podcast. The next one, the dates are coming. We just had it December 29th, but I am very pumped about this event because, you know, people get to be in the studio live and get to meet some incredible people. We have music. So without further ado, please patronize our sponsors. They have been amazing and they have been riding with us just like every single one of you. So welcome to Unscripted.
Cause we believin', it's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
The way I see it is you've got two choices. You can either keep pretending like nothing bad's ever gonna happen to you, and then when it does, you're saying, uh-oh, or you can get ahead of what's coming so that when it does, not if, you're ready for it. And you're sitting pretty, sipping on Mai Tais next to the pool, working on that Caribbean suntan because you got it covered. So folks, it's time for you to learn the truth about money. It's time for you to take back control of your money so that you are ready for what's about to happen. By doing that, you're setting yourself up for absolute success. No matter what comes your way, you're ready for it. And that's what I want for you, and I want to help you with that. So go to chrisnaugle.com and sign up for the Wealth Webinar. We do them every Wednesday at 1 p.m., and you need to be there because it's time.
For over 90 years, we've been crash testing our cars in the tireless pursuit of automotive safety. At Volvo, safety's been first since 1927. We've saved millions of lives with the invention of the 3-point seatbelt in 1959. At Volvo, we've made driving safer for you and them. Visit safety.finleyvolvo.com to learn more.
So they say if you give a man a gun, he'll rob a bank. But if you give a man a bank, he'll rob everybody. The good news for you is Private Money Club runs solely on peer-to-peer relationships, which means no banks allowed. So finally, there's a community for real estate entrepreneurs where it is truly a win-win solution. This community is a place where you can connect with other lenders and other borrowers, and the end result's massive growth for you. You get to build your real estate empire, and you get to do it solving other people's problems. So if that sounds like a place you want to be, well then join us. Go to privatemoneyclub.com/Kelly. And if you want $500 off, just add the code Kelly500 and I'll knock $500 off the premier membership. We'll see you on the inside.
Welcome to Unscripted. On today's show, my wife told me this. She said the most profound thing that's going to happen is not going to be the complicated. It's not going to be this crazy out of this world thing. It's going to be the simple things that you do that will be profound. And so I'm going to use my glasses today if you guys are okay, because my some of my script is a little bit smaller and I'm going to need to be able to read. But what I wanted to do is jump on and share with you what I go through every single day. And so every single day, with the exception of a couple, what I do is I read the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. And so it's January 6th, and I'm going to take you through this. For the next 31 days, what I'm going to do is I want to share with you the way in which I start my day. And so we're going to go through Proverbs 6, And I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've been able to glean from it. So let's go. We've got 9 points. We got about 10 minutes, right at 10 minutes, actually. So Proverbs 6, the first one is, it's amazing because when it goes in, the very first thing that it says, son, if you put up security for a neighbor, if you have shaken hands in a pledge for a stranger, you have been trapped in by what you said and snared by your words of your mouth. And what I took from that was just stay out of debt. Stay out of debt. And then it says in verse, let's see, it says, in verse 3, and the reason why I thought this was so important was because it says, go to the point of exhaustion. And I've never seen this in anywhere else where it says go and expend every bit of energy to get out of debt. Part 2, or number 2 in it, it talks about starting slow. So, starting slow and staying consistent. And it refers to the story of the ant. Go to the ant. There's no commander, but they all do a little bit of work a lot of times, and they come together, and a bunch of them together can create amazing strength. So start slow, stay consistent, and then work hard at what God tells you to do, not what you want to do. And this is probably one of the hardest things for me. So point number 3, when we go in is, and you've heard this before, people, and it's amazing because in the personal development realm or in any books that you read, most of the time people are taking ancient wisdom and ancient truth and then, adding their little twist to it. I'm not faulting them for it. And then they market that point. And the more and more they say it, the more and more you think, or we think as human beings, oh, wow, that person said that. But I always want to go back to where the basis of it was. And it's amazing what Proverbs could do. So in Proverbs 6, we take this and it says, from verse 6 to verse 11, it talks about incremental growth, a tipping point, and then exponential gain. And think of that. We've heard it before in the book, The Tipping Point, Malcolm Gladwell. He talks about this, but this comes directly from Proverbs 6. So point number 4. Point number 4 in this is it talks about diligence, which is right work. Diligence is doing the right thing at the right time and doing exactly what you were purposed to do. And it talks about this. How long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep? A little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man. So from verse 9 to verse 11, it's amazing because it's incremental growth, tipping point, exponential gain. Let's go on to the next one. Actually, diligence. So that was number 4. Number 5 is keep your path straight. And it goes on to talk about this, from verse 12 to verse 15. And I'm not going to read that exactly to you. I would suggest that you check it out, but it talks about keeping your path straight. Just keep your path straight and focus on what God has for you. I experienced this morning with my bike ride. I didn't look at the end goal. I didn't look at the big vision. What I did is I just focused on the road and I focused on my breath. My breath stayed calm. I didn't have to worry about the end goal. All I worried about was one more revolution of the pedals. And when we do that, what happens is we stay calm, we stay focused, and on exactly what God would have for us on that particular day. And this is a thing that Cody Cottle asked me yesterday. He said, what do you want for 2024? And I said, to do exactly what God has me to do every single day. So point number 5 is keep your path straight and focus on what God has for you. Let's go into point number 6. Point number 6, which was wild, it says there are 6 things that the Lord hates and 7 that are detestable to him. And when I read this, it was confusing to me. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush to evil, a false witness that pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. And so when I looked at these, I was like, oh man, it's biblical text. But what does it mean? And this is what was translated to me. Here we go. Haughty eyes. Focus. So just focus on what you were meant to do. A lying tongue. Focus on truth. Hands that shed innocent blood. Just be kind. A heart that devises wicked schemes. Have discretion. Set back and make sure that you use discretion. It's not about the things that you can do, but should you be doing them. And then feet that are quick to rush to evil. Simply slow down. A false witness pours out, a false witness who pours out lies. Think about honor. That's the way to be able to combat that is just the honor. And then a person who stirs up conflict in his community is a gossip. And so if we stay away from those things, these are things in verse 10 or verse 16 that it says 6 things the Lord hates and 7 that are detestable to him. And I'm not talking about the faith that you have or the particular belief system, but what I want you to think about is the principle-based way of thinking about this and how Proverbs can pour into your life no matter what it is that you believe. So number 7. It says, bind on your heart and fasten them to your neck. So in verse 21, Proverbs 6, verse 21, it says, bind them always to your heart, fasten them around your neck. And it was talking about the teachings of your father and your mother and never to forsake them and to grab onto wisdom. And what's amazing is bind it to your heart. So, you think about your vibe, your heart set, which is your beliefs, your mindset, which is your intentions, and your skill set, which is your actions. You put those in line, you create an irresistible vibe. But what's amazing about it is it says bind them to your heart. Your words are an overflow of what your heart is. And then it says fasten them around your neck so you can see it every single day. You look in the mirror, you can see it every day. And then here it goes. Here's the promise. When you walk, it'll guide you. When you sleep, it'll watch over you. And when you awake, it will speak to you. And imagine that. Imagine if you just took wisdom and you bound it on your heart and then you wrapped it around your neck so you had to see it every day. And then when you walked, it was the light. When you slept, it would watch over you. And when you awoke, it would say, come and check me out again. And then talks about wisdom is a lamp and, that will light up the path that you go to. So what is wisdom? The wisdom starts with the fear of God. The fear of God is just respecting God. So if you just fear God, right? So if you fear him, meaning that you respect him, he'll give you wisdom. That wisdom will lead to knowledge. That knowledge will lead to understanding. That understanding will lead to insight. That insight will lead to discretion. That discretion will lead to discipline. That discipline will lead to strength. And that strength will lead you right back to the respect of God. Bam, bam, biggity, bam. Point 8, adultery is putting anything ahead of him and stick to your unique purpose. And so this was a thing for me that was massive because my wife, when we looked at, I was looking in Proverbs 6 and I was reading it and she said, why is it that in Proverbs or in the Bible, it's always talking about the fact that, that women are bad or stay away from adultery or the wayward woman and all that stuff. And what I was perplexed on this. And then God just let me know, he said, son, I'm not talking about actual adultery. What I'm talking about is you putting anything ahead of me. And if you put anything ahead of me, I consider that adultery. And then he said, if you put anything ahead of your purpose, meaning that you try and go out and do what everyone else does, comparing yourself and seeing that this person's in real estate, so I should be in real estate. This person's in the financial world, so I should be in. No, there's a unique purpose that every single one of you has that you were designed for. And when you stick to that, guess what starts to happen? Incremental growth, tipping point, exponential gain. So adultery is putting anything ahead of him, and stick to your unique purpose. You are beautiful. You are beautifully, wonderfully made in the image of God. Anything contrary to that's a lie. So from this day forward, just accept truth. That's what we do. So walk in that. And then in point 8, it says, can you scoop fire into your bosom? Can you scoop fire? Can you be around negative people? Can you be around negative? Can you step outside of your purpose and think that you're not going to get burned? And so it talked about scooping, can you scoop fire into your bosom and not get burned? And so this was a lesson of, and I've learned this by trial by fire. I've been like, yeah, but I can store up all this good stuff around me and then I can be around some. No. Make sure that you fill yourself up with that wisdom. That wisdom will be a light. And let's go back to point number 7. Bind it on your heart, fasten it to your neck, and when you walk, it'll guide you. When you sleep, it'll watch over you. When you awake, it'll speak to you. And finally, point 9. Stick to your own path. So when you look at this in Proverbs Proverbs 6 verse 25 all the way down to the end, which is verse 35, it just talks about sticking to your own purpose. And I want to encourage every single one of you, just stick to your own purpose. And when you do that, It's amazing the magic that God will start to do, and then you can't do anything but give him credit. So I want to thank you all for being here with me, rocking with me on the podcast. I appreciate it. People have been asking me, can I pick your brain, which sounds uncomfortable? Can I go to coffee? Can we have lunch? Can we talk about this? And what I did is I created the Vibe Community. The Vibe Community is just that. I meet every single week. You get a chance to be able to do that. There's a link in the bio. I love you guys. Thank you so much for rocking with the podcast. This has been Unscripted, episode 319. Gino, I love you. Mr. Wayne, I love you. Have a wonderful day. Peace, love, and soul.